Over the weekend, we witnessed some truly shocking scenes as people around the world went out partying, or in some cases rioting, with no regard for social distancing, acting like the global pandemic is already over. Here in England, the pubs reopened, but curiously, my metalhead friends who went to metalhead pubs appeared to be having a calm and sensible time. And that's because, despite wearing black and blowing our ears out with heavy metal music, us metalheads tend to be kind and considerate towards others. But with the news showing images of packed streets full of pissed up dickheads, some people were keen to take to the internet and shout fake news. The term fake news was made popular by President Donald Trump. And I'm a Brit, so I have no say in American politics, and I can understand that back in 2016, the choice for the American voter between Hillary and Trump was like choosing which venereal disease you would rather contract. I still think using a phrase made popular by the least popular president ever undermines your argument somewhat. Not only that, but local police forces were on the news and taking to social media to say they were being overwhelmed by the sheer number of drunken idiots that were out partying. And when presented with the choice between believing the police force or someone on social media who thinks that 5G is a mind control device and the earth is flat, I'm going to side with the constabulary. But one of the most shocking things for me was how in all the crowds around the world, so few people were wearing face masks. Now obviously, here in the UK, drinkers couldn't wear face masks because they were too busy taking selfies with a pint glass, looking like they're on day release from a local asylum. And you may have seen over in the USA, certain religious types are refusing to wear a face mask because it restricts God's sacred breathing system. With one lady saying she won't wear a face mask for the same reason she doesn't wear underwear. Stuff down there's got to breathe. In a way, I can believe that. Because I think if that lady wore knickers, her arsehole would get jealous of all the shit that came out of her mouth. And in a way, it's odd that there are Americans complaining about wearing face masks, where not long ago there were many wearing face masks talking about government tyranny. You remember they were standing outside hospitals, stopping doctors and nurses getting to work whilst brandishing assault rifles. Because nothing says I have a small dick like covering your face up and threatening an unarmed health professional with a firearm. And I understand why some people don't want to wear a face mask, because the mask doesn't protect the wearer, it protects other people. So why would these selfish bastards give a fuck about anyone else? These are the people that when you're trying to do your shopping, desperately trying to observe social distancing, they'll just bang into the back of you before picking something up and coughing on it and putting it back. They're in a low risk group, they don't give a shit about anyone but themselves. To be honest, it seems like there are some people who, if they're asked not to wear a mask, they insist on doing so, and if asked to wear one, then they won't. It's like dealing with fucking toddlers. And of course that isn't really surprising, because these people will be emotionally retarded. They've got issues from childhood they haven't resolved, so they act out towards authority figures. Daddy wouldn't buy you a pony as a child, so throw fireworks at a police horse. Mummy didn't give you enough attention, so get yourself on the news defacing a war memorial. But, to the people who refuse to wear a face mask, do you not realise that you're missing a trick? In the UK, if you're going out for a night of virtue signalling and casual rioting, if you're carrying a placard, both of your hands are busy when you could be utilising them throwing missiles at the authorities. Or if you're in a crowd of people trying to shout something, you might not be heard. So instead, why not just write something across your mask? In both cases, by having a slogan written across your mask, you get your point across with little to no effort. Just write something generic like, white men bastards. That pretty much covers everything. Remaining in the UK, if you're a bit more old school, then why not go for the V for Vendetta style Guy Fawkes mask? These are an essential part of the anti-establishment, dole-scrounging dickhead starter pack. There have been countless interviews with people wearing this particular mask. All of them say they're anarchists, until you point out that should anarchy prevail and the government fall, the benefit system will also collapse. Therefore, they'll have to find some form of gainful employment. as if by magic they're no longer anarchists. If you're in the USA, with America being a multilingual country, I'd suggest something more visual, like a picture. You could have a bald eagle being ridden by President Trump with an assault rifle, gunning down Mexicans trying to climb across that wall he hasn't built yet. Or a pickup truck with a flaming cross on the hood being driven by a Klansman into a group of Black Lives Matter protesters. Why am I being so vocal about this? Well, I'm not in a high-risk group, but many people I know are. And with lockdowns around the world being eased and there being masses of new cases, surely we should be doing everything we can to help one another out. But that's just my opinion. What about the opinions of two of the most famous people on the planet? I'll say again, I try not to be too political. But over the last few months, President Trump has become indefensible. He refuses to wear a mask, shames those who do, and even got his own supporters to sign a waiver saying that if they attended his rally, they wouldn't sue him if they contracted coronavirus. That's the leader of the fucking free world. Whereas, possibly the greatest actor of all time, Hollywood nice guy and COVID-19 survivor Tom Hanks, says that people should wear face masks in public, observe social distancing and wash their hands regularly. Tom Hanks, of course, was in Big, a film about a boy who magically transforms into a man, whereas Trump is a man who still has the mind of a boy. Is wearing a face covering in a crowded public place such a big deal? Is it too much effort to potentially save the life of a stranger? And if it is, then frankly, you're a cunt. If you find it uncomfortable covering your face for 20 minutes when you're on the bus, think about the nurse who's got to do it for 14 hours, you selfish prick. Thanks for watching. Fuck, it's windy up here today.